And we're live. Back again, folks. This is your host of Lit Literature, JP, a.k.a. The Demon. And we are super pumped here today on our 100th episode.
100,
baby!
100!
100!
Wow. For those of you who listened from the beginning, wow, that's actually amazing.
You should rethink your life choices.
Yeah, you probably should. But
we very much appreciate you, but we don't respect you.
Yeah. We are very, very excited, though, for us to be here on this 100th episode and talking about part 2 of Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. And part 2 was intense. Part 1 was intense. And we've got the book right up in front of the computer monitor, and the Kickstarter came through. So the Hitman brought over his leather-bound edition books.
Yes, and it's so beautiful.
Oh, man, is it beautiful. Of The Way of Kings. I mean, it is gorgeous. They couldn't even...
there's a ton of new artwork in there.
Yeah, a ton of new artwork. They had, no joke, they couldn't bind it, right, Hitman? They couldn't bind it into one full leather-bound edition. So,
it's
instead,
2 volumes.
2 volumes. And, oh boy, is it pretty, I gotta say.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
Very, very cool. Very glad Hitman and... Yoshi, didn't you do that one too?
I did, but I got it in the second wave, so mine won't come till February.
Pulling out other nicknames.
I have like 5 nicknames for everybody.
I know.
Except for Manny. Manny only has like 3.
He can't be the cherry when he's not actually here with us. He's Yoshi when he's abroad.
Oh, God.
Cherry Yosh.
His travel name.
So, needless to say, we're super pumped to have that. And just a reminder, I mean, we just got the episodes of part 1 out. It was a lot of effort. We're super excited about it. But in the beginning of those episodes, we talked about a giveaway from Instagram. And so part of that Kickstarter, we managed to get this very nice Bridge 4.
Beautiful.
Try to talk in the mic here. Very nice Bridge 4 poster, which we're going to do an Instagram giveaway to. We're gonna post the Instagram shortly. We want to give some time for these episodes to come out.
A week or two, probably.
Yeah, a week or two most likely. But it's.
I mean, look at that though. Look at this guy. That is a man that makes his dad proud, right there.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
AKA Monster. Awesome. So if only Andrew shaved. I swear. Looks so good. But anyway,
yeah, when you guys see that, go follow our Instagram. Within the next couple weeks, we'll put up a picture of the poster with a thing. We'll have other posts before then, so don't just assume that it's the giveaway. But we'll post a picture of the poster, making it clear that it's the giveaway. And if you are following us, if you like and comment on that post, then you will be entered into the giveaway as long as you live in the United States, because we're too poor to ship abroad.
yeah, for now.
For now.
So,
Which also reminds me, we feel embarrassed sharing our stuff on Reddit. So if you guys like the episodes and you want to do it for us, we wouldn't complain.
that's pretty true. All right. So first off, we got to get this intro going. So let's do a quick round table.
Wait a minute. Did Brett just say that he was embarrassed?
No, I said we collectively are. I'm not embarrassed, but because your guys' embarrassment seeps into me.
Oh, gotcha.
You know,
that
collectively.
Was like, wait a minute. Wait a damn minute.
I'm especially embarrassed. All right. So here we go, guys. Let's do round table. So you obviously know who I am.
Got Brett, the director.
Got Ben the Hitman.
The only cool guys.
Got
here.
Eam the Dream.
Ooh.
Yoshi the Cherry.
And Andrew the Captain. And guys, this time I am coming live from Cabranth. And my elderly king is going alone on a suicide mission. And he is refusing to let anyone go with him. It's very emotional. He's saying his final goodbyes to everyone, one by one. His closest advisors, his servants, his bodyguard. He just kissed his chambermaid's hand, and he just threw some important-looking papers into the fireplace. It's a very emotional scene, but I'm happy to be here.
Wow. Your king is a douche.
The captain's in the know.
I know, man. I hope that I get to travel someday as much as the captain does.
With that said,
All right.
I think that's it, man.
Let's get
cheers
started.
it up.
Cheers.
And we're here, back, episode 100, baby.
Oh,
So,
a lot of episodes.
yeah, I gotta say, I'm really excited that many of our early watching fans enjoyed our shenanigans.
Yeah.
The previous 2 episodes, and the comments were awesome. By the
Oh,
way,
yeah.
keep that up. Some of them were so enlightening. We really got a kick out of learning some of the stuff that you guys said. Specifically, there was one about the heralds.
Yeah.
And
Pretty interesting theory, apparently.
yeah, so like all the heralds, all of them, and this is back to part 1, of course. So before we get into the interludes, but all of the heralds at Gavilar's party were present. All the heralds.
Well, 9 out of 10 of them, right?
9 out of no, wait. It's possible that all 10 were there, and that's where he lost his actual sword.
Oh, he's so good.
He's just drinking the Tylenol.
He got drunk and pawned off his real herald's blade off for just a shard blade.
He's just like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. Zeph, hold this.
Yeah. Okay, Hail Mary, Brett Bet. Hail Mary, Brett Bet. We're all 10 heralds at the party, and that's where
I'm gonna say 9 out of 10 were there.
Stone,
Go with 9 out of 10.
good old Stone Ward. What was Stone Ward's name again? The Stone Ward Herald? I forgot.
Nobody's gonna go with you on this one.
Okay.
One of them was still in damnation.
Yeah,
I've,
one of them
I've
was-
done Brett Bets like that.
This is where he lost his blade. He actually came back from damnation 6 years early and stayed drunk for 6 years.
We can make a bet: 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, or no one.
I'm just joking. We'll see how it all goes.
And then after that party, he went to another world, and he was the drunk guy that... Actually, that's from a different book, so we won't
It's
get
fine.
into it.
But anyway, very, very cool theory. We really enjoyed it. And we'll have to see how, even if 9 of the heralds that were capable of being there were there, minus obviously the gentleman who was holding off, the enemy for 4,000 years plus. It's going to be really interesting to see how that guy lost his herald blade and how he ended up with just a shard blade instead.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. It happened. Even Dalinar commented on it. The Stormfather commented on it. We still don't know that. So, anyway.
Part 2.
Part
Interludes.
2. Interludes
Well,
first.
wait. To say though, he had his blade with him when he
Yeah,
came
a
back
shard blade,
because he
not
dropped
an
it
honor blade.
as he passed out, and it didn't disappear.
True.
It got switched sometime after that.
Yeah.
When he
maybe.
was
So he
passed out,
had
probably.
the honor blade when he came back from
Yeah.
damnation.
It would be really interesting. I bet Wit has it because, Wit found him. So he was waiting. So
could
anyway,
be.
but then who gets a crazy man who's gibbering to bond another shard blade in its place?
I think
mean,
it was. I think they were supposed to be like Amaran was trying to take it, but I
Yeah,
bet
but
you
it
those
still had to
ones.
be kind of bonded.
Josh, that
Dalinar
shard
bond.
blade or the honor blade could have been unbounded, so it wouldn't have disappeared.
Very true. It could have been unbonded. Yeah, he might have picked it up.
Like some of
Hit his
blade.
herald blade, killed the shard bearer, took the blade, hit his herald blade, and walked around with the unbonded shard blade. Who knows? There's probably a lot of theories that we don't know about that other people are more privy to, but we should keep that in mind because I wonder if that will come to play in this book.
Yeah. Didn't in this part.
No, it did not in this part. So, speaking of part 2, we're gonna definitely get into the interludes right off the bat. Beforehand, I want to mention a few things because I was editing these episodes for what seemed like an uncharacteristically unreasonable amount of time this last week, and I got a lot of enjoyment at how wrong I was at a lot of the things I was saying during those episodes. So not necessarily the
dear.
Brett bets, but just like other stuff.
Other things.
And,
We all feel the same way during the episodes, Jeff.
Yeah.
Dude,
After recording,
he's
we all
definitely
pretty much
had
seem
more
to
wine
think
to
the
boast,
same thing.
and now because he's in the care of Eam the Dream.
Yeah.
Bad influence.
Yeah.
Bad influence.
He gets much more courageous when you can't smack him.
Yeah.
You know?
So, but definitely was really interesting to see some of the things that we thought might happen in that chapter in the middle of me also reading it, because I
Yeah.
actually finished it this morning. So very, very cool. So to the interludes, we got to start with good old Syl.
Still.
Silfrena.
Right.
So what do you guys' thoughts on that? I mean, did you catch any whims off of it? I thought it was awesome to get something from her perspective. But I don't know that I gleamed any like hidden gems from it necessarily.
I thought it was interesting that the Stormfather could boost her bond to be more to understand humans better. I think that happened in Interlude.
I'm pretty sure it did. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's just I read it yesterday. I still can't remember what chapter it was in.
Yeah.
But apparently,
I like
like
Brett's input.
they can increase the bond if they wanted to better understand humans.
Oh, because of the bondsmith, which I wonder if this played into as we talk about what happened to Kaladin and the rest of the Radiants, and Kaladin maybe having a little more investure, but we could get into that when we get there. But maybe that was a hidden gleam, that was foreshadowing in essence of an increased bond that allowed Kaladin to maybe withstand some of the punishment that comes
Because
with her.
I was gonna say one more thing. Even though this wasn't in the interlude, there was one chapter later where Syl got her dog mind going when she was talking to Kaladin.
Yes.
And she was like, "Oh, why even bother? Everyone's just gonna leave us."
Sounded like I was reading a Kaladin chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's a mesh
Yeah.
there where they're kind of overlapping
Yeah.
a little bit, because she's been I think she's trying to understand him, and as she is actually starting to understand him, it's driving her to a worse place, which is a bit scary.
That is a
she's
bit
gonna
scary.
start getting like, as she understands him more, she's also gonna start to be like feeling the same things. And
Yeah, but I think
Right.
it's really cool that she's having the same kind of... She's talking to him and kind of giving him perspective as to how he sounds, and is helping him understand that the way that he's thinking is not necessarily the most healthy.
Yeah.
Because even when she was doing it, he was like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like,
As long as Kaladin has the strength at that point to like do what she does for him, which is like pull him out of the gutter. It's going to be really bad if both of them get in that mode and neither of them can
They
pull
feed
each
each
other out
other.
of the gutter. Yeah, and we know
But don't you
Adolin's
think,
kind of incapacitated at the moment, so
they
can't go
were
out drinking with
both...
him.
She was influenced by the fact that the sibling...
the void thing, yeah.
what they were doing with whatever they were doing, because that's what caused
Yes.
her to kind of feel that way, which is
Yeah.
kind of similar to what Moash was doing or what Kaladin went through in the beginning of the book. Which kind of goes back to the whole thing of like, yeah, I don't think that Kaladin was just in a really dark place at the beginning of the book. Moash was definitely doing something with that honor blade.
It's possible, or that Fabio that they had that dampened his powers because
Well, it was turned off at that point, right?
I'm not 100%.
Hard to tell.
I don't think so.
That brings me back to that Fabriel is going to come into play clearly because of all the stuff that's going on. But that actually brought up another great comment that we heard, which was, remember when we were talking about in part 1 whether maybe Renarin boosted himself to the fourth ideal? And one of the commenters, I can't remember which one of the pedias was commenting like this, but he said that Renarin's light weaving is different than, or excuse me, not light weaving, but
Truth watch.
A truth
truth
watcher.
watching, but the
His power.
illumination power specifically works a little different, and it shows other people's, realities or truths versus while light weaving is more about like internal. Truth watchers are more about external truths and realities and things like that. And they brought up a really cool point of maybe Renarin's power is working a little bit like gold or one of the other metals in Mistborn, where it's showing you other versions of yourselves. And he might have been showing, Moash an alternate version of himself, staying in Bridge 4 and becoming the true guy that he could have been.
It did seem like that. There was that, because they showed him the picture in his uniform and looking all righteous, and then he couldn't stand looking at it.
Yeah, so that was a cool comment, just a different way to think about it. We obviously don't have any answer.
I'm sorry,
Oh my god.
Oh my god, Demon.
Demon.
Did you forget our names already? We've been going like for 2 weeks.
He's already trying to brush us under the rug.
I need
He's
to
like,
stop
F these
drinking
guys,
right
man.
now. No, Demon. So I think you were saying that internal and external, and I think it's the opposite. For me, I was thinking that Lightweavers is external and Truth Seekers are internal.
So the interesting thing about that is it's pretty commonly known that Lightweavers, though their magic more artistically is about like making illusions externally, their truths are all internal. So they're internal based truths. Truth Watchers tend to use more internal magic in terms of Lightweaving, maybe like internal for Ben. Like I may not be able to make myself or Ben look like something, but I might be able to like make Ben reflect inwardly. But Truth Watchers tend to be interested in the external truths of the world. So that's kind of stated. So one thing that they're Spren, and why they're called Truth Watchers, I guess, it's kind of like about the reality in terms of practical reality and less so about the internal truths. God bless you. So
Stormfather.
yeah, but that is lightly confirmed based on just like the articles and things that are around about like what the Radiant styles are, but not truly confirmed in the books yet, because we haven't really got nothing from Sanderson on Truth Watchers. Even the good Truth Watcher that lifts old Granny from Edgedancer, who is now part of the posse going to Shadesmar. So that's kind of cool.
Seems interesting that he's being so shady about Truth Watchers.
I don't know.
That's
It
Sanderson.
has to do something with Rendarin.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so that was Interlude number 1. So I don't know. Did you guys glean anything else? Maybe that was about it. Then we get to Taravangian though. Ooh. Thank you,
Then we get to
Captain.
the Captain's King, who's
Hey, I was just a visiting.
you said he was your king. You honored him.
He's not my. He is not my liege.
Andrew's like ready to watch the world burn just so his city can stay.
Yeah, Andrew, you were idolizing him. Don't even.
I gotta say,
Taravangian.
this was kind of
Oh, no.
hard in a way, because I still am furious at Taravangian because of the fact that I think they could win. They literally could win, and he kind of like just gave up really early and cut a deal. And I get why he did it, I guess, but
He
it just
was in dumb mode.
I know he was in dumb mode, but like Odium was gonna wait till he was a smart guy to make a deal. You know, it's just. But
It is
at the
kind of weird because I almost feel like smart mode would be more likely to go with Odium.
Probably, yeah. But I just felt so like
right.
Bad about
Is
it.
it just
'cause-
me or did Brett just sound like Pattern?
Odium has great lies.
Oh man, I love that scene with Pattern. He just walks up behind Adrian and Shalin and just puts the arms on them. Like, I love my hands.
Look at my feet.
It's like a drunk friend at the party. I love you guys. Look at my hands.
Yeah.
But I felt sympathy for Taravangian again, and I hated it, kind of. Like he's burning the book, and he just like
I didn't
he's
feel
talking
sympathy
about
for
how
him.
he was betraying this guy, and I'm just like,
Yeah. Yeah, there was a big sense of foreboding from a lot of Navani's chapters, because she's dealing with Taravangian and a lot of the people who are traveling to Urithiru for Dalinar's, inner posse. And Taravangian brought all of these armies with him, which we know what purpose the armies are there for. There's some sort of a plague scheme going on where he's going to get people
boy.
sick. So there's a lot of foreboding right around the horizon where Taravangian's going to cause a lot of trouble, and he's kind of already given himself up to his cause at this point. So
Fully now.
that he would throw his own he's the most dangerous kind of foe for them
Yeah.
to be like really
It's
close
even
to them
worse
right now.
because Dalinar, he knows it. And so they're trying to watch
Yeah.
for it, but it's
But
just like
Dalinar's solution though is like just keep him close and keep him under guard so he can't do anything. But he's already resigned to the fact, so he's like, I'm just gonna die anyway. So it's like Dalinar has this false
Yeah.
sense of like, hey, we've got him kind of like cornered. He can't do anything. But if he's already given up, like
Right.
Dalinar, like that card is useless.
Yeah.
Televangian hasn't given up.
Right.
He's like, I won, and this is my
Wow.
final play.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
he already did one. His play was at the end of Oathbringer. We knew what his play was, right? And he got it. He maybe not negotiated the best way that he wanted to, but you know, it kind of is what it is. And now we get to see that he's like essentially like unleashed. You know, he's got nothing to lose. He's got nothing to live for. He's already accepted his death. He sent all the people who care about back, and in his mind, they're all safe because he made his deal. As long as they're in, you know, Cabranth's like territory,
Yeah.
they're all safe.
One thing that I think is kind of interesting about Teravangian, and I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but I find it kind of interesting because he's almost like a really kind of like what's the word, like dogmatic religious guy who is his own god, because it's like he wrote this book, and then when he's not as intelligent, he just has to read the book and have faith that everything in this book is telling him the right thing, and that he has like this faith in himself as the god that proclaimed this is how you should live your life, this is the plan to go forth with, and he's just like, I gotta follow the book, you know.
Well, it's even worse because
it's a really interesting idea. And
Yeah.
Brad,
follows through on it.
I think you made a really good connection there, Brad. For anybody who's watched the movie Memento, the guy who loses his memories and he has to tattoo himself to remember things. And literally that's what this king is doing.
Yeah.
That's what he's
like,
doing.
He's like, hey, I don't remember, but I know I wrote this and I'm much more intelligent and I have to believe it. And you know what happened with the guy in Memento. Like,
So here's a spoiler alert for Memento, just so you know.
wait, are you sure you want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's directly related to the comic.
Okay.
So, spoiler alert for the movie Memento. Fast forward 15 seconds if you don't want to hear it. Is the guy with the tattoos ends up lying to himself and feeding himself a false story so that the memory loss version of himself can have purpose. And basically, I wonder if there's any possibility that super smart Teravangian is actually offering dumb version of himself up for slaughter because it is what needs to be done in order to save and do what's right.
It may come back to what Cherry said. Cherry said also it may come down to Teravangian at the end doing the right thing and in like the other mode,
I think
right?
I do not agree with Brett because I don't think that he. I think the smart part of him is so intelligent and is like, this is how it has to go, and I think he's like in a brutal intelligence. So I still think, holding on to this, Teravangian is gonna make a decision at some point, and he's gonna make something go against what he knows he should do because he's in a more compassionate, dumb state.
Yeah. You
But
know,
the thing is, though, is that the compassionate, dumb version of himself is the one that paired with Odium.
well, he made the deal with Odium.
Or made the
at that
deal with
time,
Odium.
right?
But I guess maybe he's following the book.
Yeah, the entire goal of the book was to eventually make a deal. But the funny thing is, even in that interlude, he burns the book, and they're agreeing that after the book is so freaking wrong now. They're like, it's all wrong now. It's all
Yeah,
garbage.
right.
And Teravangian basically says like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Burn it. Like, it's already off. Like, we got as far as we could. We made the deal that we set out to do. But he's like, it's different.
Yeah.
And, you know, at some point we went off. But we're committed. That's what he said. We're committed. So,
Let's go.
all right.
Committed to the
So,
diagram.
which he is actually committed because he made a deal with Odium. So that's kind of too late to. It's kind of, you know, you don't really go back on that. That's for sure. So our third interlude is Venli, right? And wait, am I remembering that right, or was that a chapter?
I don't remember.
I believe
Was
so.
it Venli in the mountains?
think,
Weren't they beginning the? No. What was the third interlude? Was it Venli in the mountains? They were starting the trek to Irithiru, or is that a chapter later?
No, that's late. That's definitely a chapter later.
Okay.
Garnets?
Oh,
no.
Garnets.
Oh, no. Into the Fire.
Into
I don't
the
remember what the
fire.
third interlude is, so we'll just move on.
It might have been her traveling up the mountain.
I thought they were starting to trek to the mountains, but I could be totally wrong now. I don't know why I can't remember the third interlude now.
No, the second one was Ja'anat. The third
Ah,
one was
that's it.
Yeah.
Taravangian was
Yeah,
into
Taravangian was the third, and Into the Fire is him throwing the book into the fire at the end because
Yeah.
it's garbage. Got it. Ja'anat, that was actually a really big tidbit. So we find out that Ja'anat still doesn't like working for Odium, and she views her corrupted Spren as like kind of good Spren, I guess, her kids in a way. And then the next thing is we find out that Ja'anat views the sibling, who the sibling is a Spren created from like honor and cultivation, I guess, and it's the Stormfather sibling. But she considers it like her cousin. She's like my cousin, the sibling. So I don't know what Ja'anat was in the beginning before being corrupted to the unmade that she is, like what kind of human or Spren combination she was. But it's clear that she not only doesn't really like working for Odium, but that she views the sibling as her cousin. Maybe that will play into what's happening to the sibling currently in the books, like how there's some, I don't know, help or aid going on. But the other thing that's interesting is that Odium and her are playing this game. Like, Odium kind of knows Ja'anat is kind of betraying him, and Ja'anat kind of knows he knows, and they're playing this game of, like, where do I help? Where am I betraying you?
Yeah.
And Odium's, like, character, like, because the passion of hate and stuff that makes up the shard that Odium is, he likes it.
Yeah.
So he can't,
Well, I
like...
think she also says that she's too valuable for him to throw away.
Yeah.
So they're playing this like delicate game of lies on lies on lies, and it's like, okay, if I'm
Lies.
3 lies down, hopefully he thinks that I'm only 2 lies down, and he's seeing through this stuff. Harry
geez.
would love it.
It's like a chess game.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that was kind of insightful, though, and I think it may play a big part into what's going on with the sibling. I hope, at least, my thought is. So that gets us through the interludes. Mm-hmm. So then we start the books. Crazy stuff happens, right? So more about the Fabrial. Kaladin finds some peace working with his father back in the...
For a little while.
In the clinic.
In the clinic. And actually, I think he might be on to something, like, is assuming he survives all this shit going on with him, like finding a further purpose in this world, which is kind of cool, which we'll get into with him. But also, we get bothered by Teft, Shallan, Adolin, and a crew of people go into Shadesmar. And those are kind of like our 3 main arcs, right? And then Venli, obviously. Venli is with the crazy fused,
The Lady of Pain.
the Regals, and the Lady of Pain, the mad scientist of the fused on the way.
She used to be one of the 9 too, right?
She
So
did,
she's-
yeah.
Yeah,
high
crazy
level.
strong.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and they took her out of it because they said that she was insane. But from what I'm seeing, she doesn't seem very insane.
No, I thought they said that she left or she moved away because she wanted to do her own thing.
She was punished also because she like brought a virus that was supposed to end the war, and it killed like just as many of the
Parshendi,
or what would you call
listeners.
them?
Listeners.
Listeners.
Was
Singers.
anybody,
Or no,
was anybody
singers.
else
Singers,
a little bit kind of like weirded out by how much like diseases were mentioned in this? I felt like Sanderson almost had like this divine vision of the future where it's like coming out right in the middle of like COVID. It's
Yeah.
like there's all this like talk of like diseases spreading and affecting like the people you didn't intend it to, and it's like I just thought it was interesting.
Well, I guess we'll find out where he's going with that.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of setup.
Yeah.
So what
I just
arc-
need to say this, but I'm so sick of Venli.
Venli.
What? I like that.
let's
I'm just
actually start
irritated with
there.
her.
So let's start with Venli because I think there's a lot of good tidbits that we didn't get
Sure.
into,
Manny
especially
Sorry, go ahead.
especially with that arc. So we know like in part 1 she's kind of like bonding a Spren, but she's not really able to really like develop with it because she can't practice because the Void Spren sense the energy right away. She's kind of liking this freedom thing. We know she's a will shaper, and will shapers, they tended to like, you know, free people, help them get stood up, like, you know, do kind of that freedom work. She's got the ability to transport, like Yasna, and the ability to
Cohesion.
and the ability to like meld rock.
Yeah. And Venli's the one that spoke to that, like, her master or whatever, and was like, oh, is there any way for us to be, like, free and on our own? And she was like, never say that again.
Well,
She's
she was like,
like,
it's a good thing, but that's too far. Like, don't talk about that
just
now.
don't say it out loud. Like, she kind of didn't really mind, but she's just like knew that like this isn't the place to be talking about that yet. Let's accomplish goal 1. Let's kill all the dirty humans.
But Venli
and then we'll
knew-
discuss.
Venli knew though that that's bullshit because
That's Leshwani.
yeah, like what's that? What did you say?
Leshwani. That's the fuse
That is
that she's
definitely
following.
not how you say it though.
Oh, I don't remember.
Is it
Leshwani, that's it. Yeah. I'm like, oh well, that's not it.
Captain comes to.
God bless you.
Specifically remember it saying Leshwani.
Well, the cool thing is though that because they like the passion, Venli always talks about balancing being like rebellious enough and also submissive enough. Because if you're too submissive, they don't like you. But if you're too challenging, they don't like you. But she got sent by Leshwi to be this like crazy mad scientist's servant.
Spy?
Yeah.
Well, spy
As a
too.
spy, yeah. So, but it's interesting. So, Manny, you don't really like her. I want to hear some of the reasons why, and let's kind of talk about that a little bit because
No,
I've
it's
got
not
some
that I don't like her.
frustrations, too.
Don't
Just
get me
sick of her.
wrong. I didn't say
Sick
that
of her.
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
like
I'm sorry.
her.
I'm sorry. Sick of her.
I'm just irritated by her. Like,
Agreed.
she
I
just
think
needs
you're
to
just a
come to
little ornery
decision.
right now because you haven't heard from Yasna in a while. I think you're just a little on edge.
I seriously think I am. Like, once again, my favorite character has shown that she has gotten the 4th oath and being the best that she is. And they just still don't talk about her. Like, what the hell, man?
By the way, theory. So, this was also came from one of the comments. So it seems that there's 10 books and 10 orders, and there's Brandon Sanderson essentially has every book in the arc with like a super main character. Not that there's not other main characters, and focused on an order. So book 1 was Kaladin, 2 was Shallan, 3 was Dalinar, 4. The theory is the focus is Venli. 5, I can't remember, but 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, the back 5, Renarin, Yasna, there's like theories
I think
that
Zeth is supposed to get one, maybe.
is supposed to get
Lift
one. I
might
think
get
Zeth
one.
might be 5 actually.
Yeah.
Okay, how is this focused on Venli when majority of the time we're hearing about Shallan and
Navani?
Kaladin? Shut your
Actually,
fucking
I was
mouth.
going to say Navani seems like the main
Yeah.
in this one to me.
Yeah.
We don't know yet.
Yeah.
We don't know yet. It's just like theory. And remember that when you're the main character, you're just really one of the main characters.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. He's got to balance it.
Yeah.
She's just frustrating. She's
Right.
She's just
I think we can definitely agree that Kaladin seems the first 3 seem clearly cut and dry.
Yeah.
Kaladin, Shallan, Dalinar. I feel like those are pretty accurate to me.
I really do find it interesting
Right.
because like I liked Eshonai a lot, her sister.
Yeah,
Eshonai. I liked Eshonai a lot before she went mad, obviously. And she went mad against her sister. She didn't want to do the storm form thing. And it's really, when you think about it, Venli's fault that all of the listeners are dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I
Yeah,
mean,
pretty
like,
much admits it a few times. in
yeah,
this part.
and so it's interesting to see because I realize that most of the main Radiants can't really become who they are without like some terrible pasts, and so I guess Eshonai was too clean.
I don't know about terrible past. I think they just need some trauma.
Well, this is trauma.
I mean, trauma sounds pretty terrible to me.
but anyway, point is,
Man, you had such a terrible childhood. No, it was just traumatic.
I
I didn't say traumatic, just a trauma.
Yeah, I do like a few things, Manny, and it is frustrate me that Venli is reacting certain ways, but I think it's really good for her. First off, she never fought.
It is frustrates me too.
Yeah. I do like that she never fought, right? Venli never fought. She was science with, and her sister was the general of the Parshendi and was out there watching people die and killing, and then still wanted to make peace. Remember, make peace with the with Dalinar. And so Venli is now forced to see some of this battle, you know, up front and close. And I love that. I think it was one of the last chapters. It was like, I think it was called Armor and Teeth. And it was like how just the weak group of men was able to withstand the fused in a hallway for like a really long amount of time, just operating like a machine. And it was really cool to watch Venli realize like, oh, this is why we were getting smoked on the battlefield.
I don't think it was her that realized it. I thought it was the
scientist,
the crazy lady.
Yeah, well, that was Venli that mentioned that on the Shattered Plains comment.
Yeah. Well, because we never get it from her, the crazy mad scientist. We don't ever get her point of view.
Yeah.
No, but she says it. She's like, the reason that we haven't beaten, or this war is for everlasting, and the reason why the humans are beat us.
Different,
she says it a different thing, though. She says the reason is because that the humans can innovate and they can change. But Venli, when she's watching, she's like, look at how they work together as a unit. Whereas we can, because she keeps talking about like in pairs, we sing together and we can go forward like in pairs. But she's like, they don't have this voice, so they can't sing to get on the same tune, but instead they train as a group for years and years and years to be able to do, like, two of them can naturally, without any training, be on the same page because of their pairing
rhythms
and the rhythms and stuff. But when these guys make up for it and almost go beyond it by spending all these years and years and years training formations and all this stuff, and sheer numbers too, is what she says. Like, there's so many of them and they're working together as this unit that they couldn't get past that, or that's why they were able to fight so well.
What I think is funny is because Kaladin or Dalinar in one of the first couple of books says that the Parshendis are like a strong force to fight against because they always work together. And I think it was Kaladin that made that comment.
Well, they actually pointed out as both a strength and a weakness, because in the Way of Kings, they comment on how they're always paired off and they work together, but then there are certain advanced like military formations that they just get broken on because they lose that kind of formation. So it's kind of like a blessing and a curse kind of statement.
Yeah, they also say, though, that because they work in those pairs, it's so hard to isolate and, like, get a one-on-one. There's always someone watching their back, which is a cool thing too. That's one of their big strengths, is they always have someone easily like just right there watching the back and protecting that other person, their backside, so they can work so well together.
I'll protect your backside.
So, but it's really interesting to see. I wonder like, honestly, at this point, I don't really know the arc she's going to take, but I expect her to betray the mad scientist at some point here.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a tough one too, though, because I feel like even her Spren is also kind of good with, like, just go against the humans. Like, they betrayed us, so, like, screw the humans.
But betray doesn't necessarily mean going for the humans. It could just mean what she was talking about, like, leave the humans, leave you guys. We're off doing our own thing. You know, you can fuck with the humans, you know, potentially.
Timber even said it.
I don't
even
know that she would do anything. She seems like a person that's never going to be able to make up her mind.
No, Venli is definitely going to meet R'laine.
Like a Theon,
I agree with you, Cherry.
Manny hates Venli like the captain hates Herdazians.
No. You can't even compare me to that.
There's so much hate here.
I don't hate Herdazians. I just don't trust them.
Spoken like a true hater of Herdazians.
I don't dislike Venli. I just find her irritating.
Well, go ahead.
There you go.
I was gonna say, I think this could be a Brett bet. Maybe everyone's just gonna agree with me though, but I 100% think that Venli and R'laine are gonna, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but they're gonna meet up this book at some point, and they're gonna do stuff together.
Okay.
I don't know,
they're gonna do.
I got a Brett bet to tie with this. So, the singers have this ability to pair off. We've got two of them that are going to be, now we know we got two of them that are going to be in the ranks of the fused, right? Because we know Relaine is heading back because he really doesn't have a choice now that they're being occupied by the fused. So my thought is, I agree with you, Cherry. So I'm going to say that's part one of the Brett bet. Relaine and Venli meet up, hook up, and become a pair. Maybe not romantically, I don't know about that, but like a pair, unique pair. But I think Relaine will also have a Spren bond.
So you think he'll take, like, he'll bond a Spren and then go out into the Everstorm, and the Spren will protect him from the fused, or the storm, whatever, Odium
Maybe.
Spren?
Yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but Relaine was close to bonding a Wind Spren or an Honor Spren. And the Honor Spren are being very stubborn about it. And now that we got to meet Honor Spren, I want to punch them all in the faces, so I get it.
Yeah.
No, I love Honor Spren. I love them. So
I only love Syl and Lopins. Actually, to be honest, any of the Honor Spren that already left and bonded these Windrunners are the unique Honor Spren. They're the ones that know, they feel it the right way. But I gotta say, I don't know if it'll be an Honor Spren. It could be another one of the Timber type. Because I think they're called Light Spren, and the entire group of Light Spren decided they're not going to bond humans, but they're going to give the original inhabitants of Roshar, the listeners, a second chance. And
Well, I have a feeling, though, that Brandon Sanderson brought up that entire interaction with Kaladin and the lone holdout Honor Spren that visits Roshar that doesn't have a person.
for a reason.
That's a reason. And
So maybe he'll be a Windrunner then.
I think almost 100% that is going to bond Relaine, but it's going to do it like just at the point where they're like, you have to go out and take on one of these forms.
Gotcha. So
And
here's
it's
the
gonna
Brett
happen
bet, though. The Brett bet is him and Venli are going to hook up as a war pair. Maybe not like war form, but
They're
like a
gonna team
pair.
up.
They're going to team up, and they'll both be bonded.
Spren and have one of the, what are they called? Forms of power. I think that's what they call them. The forms of power that have the. I'm down.
They would be regal in this case. Regal.
I don't know if they'll be regal form, but I think one of those forms
No,
of
no,
power,
but
like an
regal
elevated
is multiple forms, but so there's the way that it works is there's fused, which is you have one of the 9 lashings from Odium, but you basically die. You
die.
get taken over by one of the Odium's ancient Spren.
yeah.
And
no
then-
ancient people.
ancient ones, whatever.
Yeah.
Which are basically, they kind of confirmed that they basically turned them into Spren, and then those are how you get the lashings. The level below that is regal. And the regal forms, there's a few. Storm form is one of them. Storm form that they used, the one that Venli is right now, which is like the
Diplomatic form or something. I
the
forget what it's
translation one, but I don't know how many there are of that form. Maybe there's 9 as well. Maybe 9's the number. But there's 9 regal forms. And then the level below that is like the worker form, war form, a nimble form, whatever they call them. And I think they just call them
Dull form.
singers in this case.
Yeah.
That was my understanding of the breakdown. Did you guys
Yeah.
understand?
I agree with
anything
that.
else? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I'll go first. I'm totally on board with this since this was one of my partially my Brett bet.
Yeah. Okay.
On both of them?
Cool.
Yes and yes?
Yes and yes. I agree.
Okay.
Jeff, this is part your Brett bet. You should go next.
I'm also saying
Okay,
yes and yes.
Jeff. Yes and yes?
What's the second part?
The second part is, and they will both bond a Spren.
They're both about us, Ben?
Yeah,
Well,
Relaine
Venli
and
has
Venli.
one.
Well, he will do the same thing as Venli, essentially. He'll bond a Spren before he gets put into one of the noble forms. What'd you call it?
Regal.
Regal forms.
And
Regal.
Yeah, yes and yes.
Right.
Anyone think no?
Interesting.
Yeah, I was thinking yes to the first one and no to the second part.
There we go. Got some change.
okay.
All right.
I have a deviate of vote as well. I'm gonna say that no, they won't join up, but I will say yes, they will.
Ooh.
That Relaine will get that Spren.
I like
And
it.
yeah, they'll both have Spren.
Okay.
Well, then, just to keep things spicy, I'm gonna go no and no.
Ooh.
Even though I really do think that the
Alright.
first one.
Brett wants to drink.
Lie.
We're actually getting low. We're gonna need a.
Yeah, same here.
We might we might need a Randall flag, or we'll just have to send a
Should we Randall
messenger
flag it?
spread. Messenger
Really quick?
spread. We are only 45 in, so maybe we should Randall flag it.
All right.
Can everybody use a Randall flag?
Yeah, definitely. I am drinking a very.
Could we go to
potent-
45?
as one of Adolin's
I've had to stick to orange
drinks,
because
so-
my name's Teft, and I don't want to get back on the hash.
All right. Well, Randall Flag, if you could please refill our drinks.
Oh my God, Randall flag! Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I love that guy.
So kind of him.
Jesus, cheers, guys. Randall flag.
He's such a good guy. I love Randall Flag.
Okay, back to the game. So,
All right.
Venley, right?
I thought we finished that.
Oh, I
up.
thought we were done with her.
What were we talking about?
I don't know. I mean, Randall Flag filled our drinks instantly, and yet it feels like a few minutes went by for some reason.
All right, so
Maybe we
I was
paid
just
him
talking
in
about
memory.
Aiden and Shalyn.
well, that's what I was gonna say. The other major
Yeah.
arcs are the Shadesmar arc, and Kaladin's arc, and then
And
maybe a
Navani.
little bit of Dalinar's arc. So,
And, yeah.
kind of right.
Navani, I was going to say.
Navani's
With,
arc,
Kelly.
Yeah, Dallin
Considering
doesn't
she's
have
the main
any-
character of the story, we should probably talk about Navani a little bit.
So let's go. I kind of agree with the Hitman. I kind of deeply want to talk about Shadesmar arc because Shallan, especially.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I don't know about you guys, but fuck Pattern. He's evil. He's betrayed us.
No,
I don't think that
No.
betrayed anyone.
Oh my
we're gonna
God.
find out. This is it. I'm telling you, I got two things. First, we're gonna find out that Pattern is literally just following Shallan's orders.
I
He's
think
doing
you're
what
right.
She told him to do. So that's happening. I do have a breath bet, but maybe we can wait. Let's talk about Pattern.
No, I think I agree with Josh too. I think that Pattern is not evil. I think he's just doing he's just going with emotions. Like when Shallan's like, "Oh yeah, remember this happened? Remember? Oh yeah, I remember that."
He's probably like, so everyone's probably so nervous right now about saying the wrong thing in front of Shallan. It's almost like even Pattern is probably like, yes. She's thinking there's some kind of plan about it. Like maybe there's something she's trying to get done, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The only thing that kind of confuses me a little bit, though, is like, how is Pattern controlling his buzzing around her if this is going on? Because he can he uncontrollably buzzes around lies, and it seems like
Maybe that's a lie.
yeah, maybe.
Well,
It could
that
be.
or
Like, it's
being
also
in
his
Shadesmar.
perception. It's
Yeah,
his
being in-
perception of lies. So if he's like, I know this is my lie. I don't think I need to. He gets super excited about finding and hearing other people's lies. Because he even said he's like, I don't always know it's a lie. That's what makes him interesting. So I think
Yeah.
it's like when he finds out it's a lie, that's what gets him really amped up. So if he
Ooh,
knows
it's
it's
a
a lie, he
lie.
can be quieter
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah, it could be why he was like kind of attracted to her in the first place because her like personality was like splitting or something like that, and he's just like, ooh, here's a self-contained lie.
Yeah, I gotta
Just
tell
a
you, man.
constant
Yeah,
state of
might be.
lying.
In this part, in this part, I felt
Yeah.
like Kaladin, which we'll talk about at a different arc, but Kaladin was making like positive gains, not always, but like some progress.
Made some
Shallan,
progress.
I feel like, is going
Right.
way more deep into the off. Like
Yeah.
she's like going way off the deep
Yeah.
end.
And I feel like after the end of book 3,
Yeah.
it almost felt like a little optimistic, like she was getting it under control, learning
Yeah.
to deal with it. But now it feels like it's going a little bit out of control again.
Dude, she keeps like going away at the most subtle things now and like avoiding interaction and I got to applaud Adolin. He's like really trying to figure creative
Yeah.
ways on how to handle it and
Take
stuff.
notes, fellas. That's how you
Yeah,
deal with
seriously.
women.
I need to take
Right.
notes.
Right.
Gotta be understanding.
Can I say something about the whole Shadesmar
Yeah, let's
arc right
go
now,
for it.
just to kind of paint
Sure.
the scene? Man, I really loved this section of the story. There was like maybe 4 or 5 consecutive Shallan chapters that were really awesome. It felt like we were getting on board the Orient Express in an Agatha Christie novel, because there's a mystery afoot right away. Like, Shallan is trying to find out who the traitor is, and she has her suspects. She's got Beryl, Ishna, and Vatha, and she's trying to figure out root out which one is the spy among them. And as a reader, you're eagerly trying to root out evidence too. And I really, really enjoyed this section. It was kind of a slow mystery,
It was interesting to me as well, but there was a part of me, because I'm so on board with Josh's theory, I was just like, this is a waste of fucking time. It's you.
Well, the coolest thing about that is this would even be part of the game, Andrew, which I think he wrote this specifically so that there could be a board game.
You.
Right? Okay. So that's what I think. And here it is. And she even questioned whether she was one of the spies.
Yeah,
she's like,
what was
the
I?
other?
Right.
Could I have touched it? So this board game, if you could imagine, or card game or whatever, werewolf, night of werewolf, or whatever it is, one night werewolf version of Sanderson's Shadesmar realm is going to be, you could be Shallan, the darkness or something, right? We don't know.
No,
like, what if that
formless, right?
Yeah, formless.
Yeah, I actually like it being more like a Clue game. That would be cool. But it's like the three spies, and then you have like Adolin and the different weapons, and who knows?
I honestly think the Shallan arc was pretty cool, but I felt the same way as Brett. I'm like, okay, I know what's happening. This is obvious.
You guys are crazy. You're wrong.
I mean, I still found it interesting. I was very into it. I was kind of joking, but the more and more we went through this chapter, the more and more I was like, I think Josh is onto something.
Yeah, but I still say I think I enjoyed more than Shallan's was the Adolin stuff. I still think that Adolin's arc in this whole section is so good because he's going through this whole section where he's like, I have to live under my father's shadow, but it's not even that he's living under his father's shadow, it's that his father is like forcing this, you're a better version of me on him, and his struggle, like, it seems to get like pushed to the side because of how severe Shallan's is, but I think his is just as strong, and I loved all of his little stuff, and even just like his character, especially in like these few chapters we've gotten, have been so good. Just like what he does for Shallan, his mindset when he's doing stuff, he's talking, his Kaladin, that was in the previous section, but when he's talking to his Rashadian, his horse.
Oh, the Rashadian horse, yeah.
The Rashadian horse. When he's like talking to it, and he's like,
he's talking
like,
to the radish.
You don't like
Gallant,
this, and
right?
The radish horse. Yeah. Yes.
The Burleson horse.
But
The Daikon horse.
his character is, I've loved his character, but I feel like this section here just elevated him so much. Yeah. Crescendoing at the end when kind of the bet, or the kind of the way he tries to go about meeting with the honor Spren.
I just want to say something. Okay, go ahead. Finish, Josh.
I want to say one thing. I've got a Brett bet about Adolin, and I 100% think that Adolin is going to... So his Spren Maya is a...
his sword.
Yeah, his sword.
It's not a Spren
is
yet.
It's a... What's lift? What's her...
An edge
dancer.
Sword.
Yeah.
So I think the Adolin is going to say at one point he's gonna like heal Shallan, or he's gonna help heal Shallan no matter what, and that's gonna be what is the catalyst, him trying to heal Shallan, because Edgedancers are healers. It's gonna be what gets him to... I almost feel like he might skip the first ideal, or somehow that is gonna translate to an ideal that is gonna break the death of Maya.
Here's the thing.
Maya was actually a cultivation.
Well,
Spren,
let's do the Brett bet first, and then let's put our 2 cents in, because last time we were trying to give our opinions before the Brett bet and changing everyone's opinion, right? So let's do Josh's Brett bet, and then let's all put our 2 cents in on it.
So the Brett bet is Adolin will become an edge dancer through his promise to heal Shallan.
Yes. And I will start. I say
And
yes.
Josh says no.
But I want everyone else to say yes, and then I'll say no. No, I'm kidding. Yes.
Jeff.
Okay.
Cool.
I've got to put 2 cents in now. Oh no, I'm
You
saying my
gotta
bet
do
is-
your bet and then 2 cents. Ben.
I think that he's going to be an edge dancer, but it's not going to be through
His promise
wanting
to
to heal. Yeah.
I'm the same with Jeff.
So then no.
Yeah, no.
I guess it would be no, yeah. But on record saying he might very well be an edge dancer because I think that Spren is an edge dancing Spren.
If that is an edge dancer, he's gonna revive Maya and become
An
a
edge
knight
dancer.
of that type. But it's not gonna be through his promise to heal Shallan.
I agree with you there. But I want to talk. I'm going to give my 2 cents, and Ben will too when we get to that point.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to say this ahead of
I'm-
time because there's a lot of kind of room for ambiguity here in potentially a situation where we don't agree what it was.
And we just drank.
If we don't agree, then everybody that said yes gets it right because in the end you did say that he would be an edge dancer.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine.
Cool. Okay. I will go ahead and say yes. I kind of like the idea of Maya being cultivation Spren, and I think that if Adolin were to get edge dancing abilities, that would just make his combat and fighting even more amazing and put him on par with like some of the other characters and protagonists, which we really want to see. That we got an awesome fight scene with him in this segment. Fighting the Tashiks, I believe. Which, man, imagine him being able to edge dance while he's
Scary.
fighting. Like,
Yeah.
that would
They
just be
said-
awesome. So I'll say
Just
yes.
to add
Yeah.
to that, they did say, or somebody said, one of the heralds said, or was it one of the heralds, or maybe it was one of the characters? I think it was the Skybreaking herald. Said like edge dancers used to be the most graceful and scary on the battlefield if they were like at a high level. And Adolin is clearly a very like artistic fighter.
Yeah.
You know, you can imagine.
Manny.
Manny.
What was the prep bet?
Adolin will become an edge dancer through his promise to heal Shallan.
I'm gonna say no.
I'm going
There's
to
a
say,
frown on Cherry's face.
I'm going to say yes, and since I'm last, I get to put my 2 cents in.
Okay, 2 cents, and then we'll go around the circle.
So I'm gonna say yes, and I also agree that potentially he skips the first ideal because I think that there's a possibility that because she is already a sword, that first ideal that ends up creating the weapon doesn't need to be had, and that he's just gonna skip to the second ideal.
So, 2 cents here. We found out like we don't really know how each order has a different, like I guess.
It is the first ideal that creates the sword, right? Or is
No,
it second?
it depends
Well,
on the
I think
order
it was the
itself.
second or third
So,
for Edgedancers.
so
Okay.
there's the theory is that it depends on the order that you're in.
Yeah.
And that would shake that up. The one reason that I don't know, I think Edge Dancer because of the design of Maya, but I here's why maybe not through, and Ben, I don't know if you're on the same page or not, but maybe not through promising to heal excuse me, Shallan. I think it's I don't know about Edge Dancers, but their first or second ordeal has to do with like remembering those who were forgotten. And so when you see the Edge Dancer that's with them now, he's like looking at all the people who died faces to remember them. There's like something unique. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know that, maybe I could be wrong because I don't know the rest of their orders, but I don't know that it's necessarily about healing.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm going to say no. I still think it's highly plausible he's an edge dancer. I don't know that that's going to be the thing that gets him to the, he might get a higher level, but I think it's going to be the promise is going to be something accepting of himself, but like accepting something about his father or his situation, in my opinion.
Because I agree with Jeff. The order's about remembering those forgotten. So it'd be like the urchins and the homeless, they're like, I'll remember you guys, or the fallen shoulders who no one remembers.
Or the bartenders that nobody remembers their names.
But I also feel like he's gonna awaken Maya, awaken the bond, and bond with her during the trial, and that's gonna be what's gonna bring the honor span over to the other side.
Yeah, I agree. I think that
I
awakening
agree,
Maya
too.
has to bring the honor spread over those bastards.
Yeah.
I think that he's definitely going to be one of the people, or he's definitely going to be a Radiant, but I don't see him being an Edge Dancer, I guess.
How about this? The Edge Dancer is all about remembering those who are forgotten, and I don't know anybody more forgotten or mistreated or put down into the ground than the Deadeyes.
Ooh, there you go. And Shadesmar. And then, I don't know, you could even go as far as to say Renaud, too.
I like the way that you're thinking. I do like the way you're thinking, but I don't know. My gut feeling says no.
What do you think he would be?
Okay.
I don't know.
I think if he doesn't be an Edge Dancer, he's not going to get a Spren, because they have to at least have the one person that's like, you can still be a good, strong hero without being a Radiant.
Dude,
Is there an order that likes fashion?
Oh my god, Brett, that's so funny.
Manny
that you bring that
spread.
up, because
the Manny spread would bond
at
Adolin.
when we were talking last time, Jeff is like, Adolin is me, or I'm so much like Adolin. And I'm like, wait, no, you don't spend that much time on clothes.
That's what you're for.
I know. He's like a mix between you and Jeff.
Fusion ha!
You know Adolin has like 16 different pairs of colored glasses.
Yes.
Me and Manny just need a fusion ha.
Fusion.
Except it's a fusion how we're just Manny's personality in Jeff's body. Because you can't get that mix of eye color, because this is dark.
It's true.
Super dark. You look black.
Anyway,
Captain.
Yeah.
One thing I want to
we
say
captured it.
about the Adolin arc 2 is I feel that the you know how we get the introduction of the pattern Spren, I forget what they're called,
Cryptic.
that was Deadeyes, but had recently been made into a
yeah.
Deadeye.
Yes.
Lyspren?
Yeah, I think
The cryptic?
the cryptic.
Yeah, the
I
cryptic.
think that
There was something out by like an island or something like that, right? Or is that what you're talking about? The recent Deadeyes that they found?
This was recent, and he was with an Ink Spren. They were friends, the Ink Spren and the Cryptic. And the Ink Spren was a market owner, and he found his friend, and she just wandered to this area and stayed.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't move anymore. So he just decided to put up shop and just sell stuff there.
yeah.
And Ink Spren, by the way, is Yasna Spren.
Now,
has an ink
does
spren.
that kind of hint to us that most likely, or possibly, whoever broke their oath or whatever, like literally just went out to the middle of nowhere and is just like, I'm done? And
I don't know.
he's in that same spot potentially on the physical realm?
I don't know.
Brett,
We don't-
let me finish my point. What I was gonna say
Wait,
is
I didn't interrupt you. Jeff did, and then I added on to it.
I was gonna say I think that specific
maybe I did.
sword is gonna come into play, and we're gonna find out that someone near Udathiru is literally like has a newly made shard blade. Because I wonder if there's like somehow either someone out in the real world is trying to convince the Radiants to either give up their shard blades or they're somehow taking these Radiants and doing something to them to get them to turn into new shard blades that can be produced. So I bet that's going to be an arc that we're going to see somewhere where
Probably
there's
has
a
something
town
to do
close
with
to
the ghost
Udathiru or
blades.
something, and that there's someone
cool.
doing something with those. I think that's going to be a part that we're going to get into.
Why would it just be out in the middle of nowhere, though?
Well, we don't
Well,
know. Yeah.
Or do we not
Yeah.
know?
There's war camps near Urathiru. Are there gateways to other places at Urathiru?
The one thing is they said that it's outside. So
always says
Udathiru,
it,
they
so,
come
like-
down the mountain, and then from there they cross the sea, which is land in the real world, and they get to a coast and they find a little city. So it could, and they also say distances are different in Shadesmar than they
Yeah,
are
we
in the real
don't
world.
know about the
That's
cognitive
true,
realm.
yeah, yeah.
So we don't know where it is, but I think that sword, that specific shard blade, is gonna come up in the real world at some point, and we're gonna learn about that story. There's gonna be something that's going on, and I almost think it's gonna be like Ghost Bloods, or someone's going out there and trying to create new shard blades that anyone can use by either turning the radiance or killing them, doing some way to be able to get those.
That's actually a really cool point to bring up that we should be wary of as we're reading, because certainly it made me like nervous. Like I'm kind of like, I don't know. There's something's going on here. Newer shard blade, a cryptic too. So you would think it would have something to do with Shallan's posse, but if she had no, knowledge of it, it's kind of a tough situation. So we should definitely be wary of it. I like that.
The one thing that kind of like confused me a little bit though is like how obviously it's like in the last like 4,000 years or whatever, it's basically absolutely unheard of to have a new Deadeyes, I would assume.
It's also absolutely terrible for the mission that Adolin and Shallan are on.
Right.
Which, if there was suddenly word of a new Deadeye in the middle of this like
that's what I was
situation where
confused
they're
about.
trying to sell the honor spren, it's like, oh man.
That's what I was a little confused about. This guy, even though he obviously was taking it seriously, it felt like it was mentioned way more casually than I feel like something that huge would be mentioned in a world like this. It's like, I mean, I guess we have like 24-hour news cycle, but like when that like new case of Ebola suddenly came up, like you heard about it everywhere instantly. Oh, Ebola's back. It's like, what?
Well,
I also feel like that like it's been 4,000 years and there's been no new Radiants, but they know the Radiants are back now.
Are back, yeah.
And so they just assume
they're gonna start killing them off again.
Yeah,
that's
so like,
true.
Look what you did.
Look, yeah, this is what they
This is
do.
fine.
Yeah. I guess that's true, yeah.
I actually find it more off-putting that our team in Shadesmar didn't take it more like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Shallan, it didn't even enter her mind
don't think
from
she
her
knows about
perspective.
Well, I don't think they could at the moment. They're in Shadesmar, you know?
Well, I mean, Adolin knew about it because he was talking with the Inkspren.
Yeah,
so
Adolin
like,
knows.
But when they were in Shadesmar, he talked about it, right?
we're
talking.
but they were in Shadesmar, but everyone there is in Shadesmar, and I feel like Adolin would mention that to Shallan, and that would be a really big red flag in Shallan's
I get
mind.
what you mean. I get what you mean.
He might have, but Sean's on such a downward spiral.
Yeah.
Any more pressure is just one.
It's like, I know you're going through something, but I'm gonna make it worse.
But the point is, I think I agree. We're gonna have to be wary of it because it's definitely gonna play a factor at some point, whether it be the blade or even the cryptic or both.
Yeah.
In the story, it doesn't bode well. That particular freshly minted Deadeye is gonna cause Adolin problems during trial. And it's going to cause somebody else problems later on.
I can only assume though that if this is like a planned event, it's obviously being planned by somebody not honorable enough to get their own shard blade.
The Ghost Bloods.
Like Josh said, there's somebody out there potentially just trying to manufacture shard blades so that not only the good guys have shard blades. Like, it's like, oh, well, we've got them too.
Best thing ever that came out in this is apparently the spheres that they used to hold Stormlight were not all made equal. Nobody really noticed because they were just using them as money. But over a long period of time, somebody was siphoning all of the perfect spheres out of the money exchange in the economy. And then now that Stormlight is the #1 economy, they're like, oh, we need perfect spheres because they hold Stormlight so much more. And whoever's in charge of the Ghost Bloods has been in the know-how for a very long time. So, because that's definitely them.
Perfect.
It's definitely them. Especially they want to transfer Stormlight, across Shadesmar, possibly across worlds. So there is definitely a bigger picture going on. So I do want to jump back to Adolin, though, real quick, because I think there was a lot we didn't touch on. We started with the Brett bet that Josh set up, but I wanted to
can I mention something really quick because I didn't have a chance to say it
yes,
before.
go ahead.
When we were talking, this is like 15 minutes ago. When we were talking about the horse, because I just thought this was really funny when we were reading it, and since we're going back to Adolin,
The Burlishan Daikon horse.
the horse. Yeah. I when I was reading this, I always felt like it was a little funny that like when you really think about it, I think one of the I mean, obviously he seems like a great guy, but one of the reasons I feel like Adolin can handle this horse is because he's basically just a horse version of him. He's this pampered, like kind of like, you know, oh, I'm kind of high and mighty. I'm an extra horse, you know? So I think it's funny that like when we see it in a horse, we think to our, like, I don't know about you guys, but I thought to myself, like, wow, this is like a really special horse. That's really awesome. Like, I want one of these horses. But when we see that same behavior in humans, we're like, you fucking dick. Did you guys feel that at all? Or like when you see this horse and like how he acts like all like regal and stuff like that, aren't you just kind of like, oh, it's such a cool horse?
I'm like,
Yeah.
that horse is a dick.
Really? I feel like the horse is fucking awesome and I
do.
want one. It's like, man, I want a horse that's special.
Well, they have to choose
But
you.
like when you see people like that think they're that special, you're kind of like, dude, you ain't all that.
Well, the cool thing about Rashadiums is two things, and actually one of these is another argument back to my Adolin, so I'm glad that you mentioned this. But the first one is that Rashadiums actually appear slightly different in Shadesmar, indicating that they're something more unique than just a horse, which is cool.
Yeah.
It seemed like it had the same problem Seth does with his soul. Like when he moves, he leaves that white, transparent behind.
Okay.
And so does the horse in Shadesmar.
Okay.
And there was also that one.
White assassin of white.
There was also that one
In
Spren.
horse style.
Wasn't there that one Spren that was like
he
kind of
really?
showing him around?
Does that lead to a shade of white?
Yeah, like when he moves, he leaves an after image.
I thought that was only when he was like, because of the Stormlight and stuff like
Because
that.
his soul was not bound properly.
He still does that? So he moves around, and I didn't interpret that way.
I thought it was
that's
forever
crazy.
he does that.
We also, I mean, we have
That would
reason.
be really awkward. Hey guys.
We have reason to believe he's like one of those like
Immortal
undeads, right?
Well, not yes, he probably is now, but
Yeah.
he doesn't know it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But we also the one Spren that they were like chilling with was on a horse, and he like said something like, "Oh, you guys always think that things here are based off of things in your world or something like that.
they're not.
But they're not.
It might be the Rashadium's imagination, right? But back to this. So another argument that Adolin is absolutely going to become an edge dancer is because his father basically forgot about his Rashadium, and Adolin takes care of him every day, brushes him every day, as if he's unwilling
His father
to...
didn't forget about him.
He's like, I'm too busy to hang out with my horse.
He's not able to use them, so he appreciated the fact that his son was taking care of it, but he didn't forget about it.
The important thing is that Adolin refuses to be the person who forgets about those kind of things. So he still, every
That's
day...
a stretch. You're really stretching
Nah,
here.
Jeff's right. Yeah.
You're reaching.
I don't
gonna
think
be
that's
a-
a stretch. I think
gonna be the
that's
horse
pretty
whisperer.
legit.
There's a cabinet holding liquor, and you're reaching.
I think that shelf's in arm's reach, brother.
Yeah, I don't think so. Speaking of Adolin, and we're also kind of, talking about Shallan in this point too. Was anyone else kind of concerned that Shallan seemed to be having no problems coming out on her own for everyone else except when Adolin was nearby? Then Adolin can only talk to Radiant or Vale. Like, what the heck is going on?
I think it has to do with Shallan's fear that Adolin is actually going to like kind of progress her. It's kind of like one of those things. Remember, like Kaladin was saying it in his piece when he's starting to deal with those who are, kind of essentially mentally ill through war. But it's kind of all the same thing. Her compulsion is to avoid the unpleasant thoughts. So. And I think Adolin is so good at either bringing her out and then kind of like very politically bringing up the topics that she's so scared about.
I actually disagree.
Confront
I
her
disagree
issues.
a little bit. I think the reason that she doesn't like to come out around Adolin is because I think that she doesn't like coming out around people that when they discover the lies she's hiding are going to be the ones that she cares
Got it.
to lose. She
Like-
thinks these are the people that won't be able to
Okay.
handle it. Anybody else, if they found out,
Yep.
it's like, I don't care. But if Adolin found out, I actually do
Yeah,
care about him. I
okay.
actually do love him.
That's a great
and
point.
he might not accept it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally. I think that's
Okay,
literally what she
so-
says in the chapter. She's like, "He's not gonna like me anymore. They're not gonna be able to deal with me or care for me anymore because
Yeah.
of what I've done."
Right.
Yeah,
You
so
know-
I agree with you on that one.
Okay.
That's actually a great point. I'm glad you mentioned that because
Yeah, he-
that makes total sense to me.
He'd be the one that she would
Yeah.
feel that she betrayed the most.
Yeah.
Like,
You know,
everyone
what's
else,
sad?
like when he finds out
She'd
who
be
she
hurt.
is or hurt the most, that they know who she is.
What's
If
sad
they
about
would
that?
reject her.
Oh, it makes this so good. The like tension so good because we all as readers know Adolin he wouldn't care at all. He would
See,
not
but the
care.
thing is, though, we know he wouldn't care no matter what Shallan did. But if Shallan is another personality like Vale or Radiant, and that her real self is something much worse, and that's what she's hiding, because she knows that this version is not something anybody could love, but the version that she's created is, we don't know that Adolin would be able to put up with that.
But
We're assuming that Shallan is the Shallan that we know,
yeah.
and that this good-hearted person must have reasons why she did potentially terrible things. But if she's hiding an actual terrible person, we don't know.
Yeah, but I think that's more like her view of herself
Right.
personally. But you're right, it's possible.
How
but,
terrible could you be at 7? How old was you?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know, I was
that's true.
I was pretty fucking bad at 7.
Damn.
All I can say, your mom still loves you. So all I can say is I think that Adolin views himself as equally as evil in a different way. It may not be, but in his mind, killing Sadeas, which he accepts that he actually believed that was the right thing to do. And God damn it, I think most of us sitting here do also believe that.
Yeah.
But Dalinar, for some reason, thinks
Yeah.
that's not the right thing to do. But to be honest, Dalinar's life would be a freaking wreck trying to deal with Sadeas right now if Adolin didn't kill him in the alleyways
Yeah, but
of
you can't just
Muradhiru.
kill people out of
Or
inconvenience.
he'd already be dead.
I mean, he was threatening him, and a Lethe threat is a
Yeah.
real deal. It's in your face. So
Yeah,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I don't know. I the one thing that I like about Adolin is that he's never backed down from it, and to this day, he's like, I still think it was the right thing to do. I think I did the right thing. He's like, I think I did, and
I
my
think
father
he-
doesn't see it, and I'm just who I am. I think that was the right thing to do.
I think stuff like that
Yeah.
can sometimes have unintended ramifications that end up making it not worth it, even though it seems like the solution to your current problem, and you can justify it by saying, well, he was trying to kill me, or he was trying to do something to me. But I mean, we even see another example of this potentially in the scene at the very end with Kaladin, and I thought his father brought up a very good point. You don't know that they were going to kill him.
Yeah, you don't.
You went in there out of fear, which is understandable. You know, I'm not saying that either of them was right or wrong.
No,
I'm
I
just
gotcha.
saying, like, there is a point where you kind of sometimes have to decide, are you willing to risk this to be the better person?
Yeah.
Or are you willing to kind of be a little bit of evil in order to protect what you love? You
So
know?
if it was just a threat like what Kaladin had to deal with, and I was gonna, like, for example, let the Parshmen run away, which I would have let the Parshmen run away too. Okay, I gotcha. Kaladin might have gone too far. If I'm in Adolin's position, though, Sadeas has now tried to murder us 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times.
He's literally tried to do the most evil things to us. And not only the proof is in the pudding, he's literally almost succeeded multiple times. I've almost died 3 times at his hand. That asshole says so in the dark alleyway. I might just jab that knife up his head because how many more times can I only have 9 lives, motherfucker?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, that's definitely the safer way to go about it.
I don't know.
But you
it's
never
kind of like
know
the whole thing that people kind of deal with, like where you're like, hey, in order to beat somebody, you're going into their level. You're not being the bigger person.
Sadeas
So
wouldn't
you're
have knifed
stooping to
anyone
their
in an
level.
alley. I would argue that Adolin went way, way to lowbrow levels to do that, in Lethe
Yeah.
words.
I
And-
definitely can say that I'm not judging Adolin for doing what he did. I think that it makes sense to me, you know? But I also think that there's a hypothetical potential reality where they continue to deflect his blows, they continue to outsmart him, and he just starts to have faith, and now you have an alive ally Sadeas. You didn't have to kill someone. You were able to change them to see things more the way that you're willing to see them. And it all comes down to, like, I think a lot of times it comes down to there is no right or wrong answer. It's just, what are you willing to risk for what you're willing to gain? And sometimes people risk things that maybe weren't worth risking, and other times people don't risk things and they probably should have. You know,
I really just think Sadeas would have been Odium's pawn instead of Amaran, and it would have been worse because Sadeas was better.
potentially.
So I
But you
still
don't
get
know
that
that.
seems
I
to
don't,
be that
but
seems to
you
be
know
what.
what?
Well, I think it
I
always
don't
comes.
care.
I think it always comes down.
You try to kill me 5 times, I'm gonna kill you in
I
an
think
alleyway.
that's but I think
It's
that's
like that
kind of the
simple.
sad fact of situations like this is, unfortunately, in life, a lot of times you just don't know, and you just have to rely on your instincts and hope to God that you're making the right choice.
Right, and if somebody tries to kill you 5 times and on the threat of the 6th, I think
Oh my God, Jeff,
probably your
let it
instincts
go.
Just,
He only tried to kill
say
him
probably
once.
kill the guy.
I mean, I think that's one way to look at
Twice
it.
at
He only
least.
tried to kill
What?
him once, right?
No, they tried to kill
No,
Adolin.
the betrayal
Yeah.
on the mountain, and then in
Duel.
the dueling pit that
That's
he
at least
orchestrated.
twice.
That's 2.
And then there
right
was
there.
at least another assassination attempt and a 4th in the works. I say 5 because we might not know of one.
And that's just, and those are just murder attempts against Adolin. That's not counting murder attempts against Dalinar or the rest of the family. Renarin was
Well, the
also
Shattered Plains was Dalinar,
also
basically.
a target.
Well, it's probably both of them.
Both of them.
It was
yeah. Both,
It was their
both of them.
household.
So even
Yeah.
worse.
It was their
We said
household.
that like it's like that's both of them. But then I'm like, oh wait, it was both of them.
Anyway, whatever you say, I applaud Adolin for this because he owns it. He didn't go away
Do
from
you
it.
think though, Jeffrey? Do you think that he's trying to cope with it right now by saying like, "Oh, you know what? I don't regret it. It was a good decision." But really, when he did it, it was kind of an act out of his emotion.
No, I think he knows it was an act out of his emotions. He doesn't say it was a good decision, but he says he's okay with it. And I think
Yeah.
that Aelin is honest with himself. So, and he knows that he's not as good as Dalinar wants him to be, and he's trying to have his father view him as a person, and that he might in the future say this was a mistake, but it's one that I made honestly.
But you
in
definitely
that way.
can't just sit here and just let your past make you not able to become what you can become. That's for
Right.
sure. I think Dalinar's proof of that
Yeah,
so far anyway.
Exactly. And so I think
Yeah.
truthfully that Adolin, it's not that he's necessarily okay or trying to cope it. I think he really does think, like, if I had to do it again, I would do it the same way. And he's like, my father won't talk to me now as a human being, but I'm still me and I'm going to do things my way. And it's different than Dalinar. I'll do most good things. And sometimes I'll fuck up and do the wrong thing in passion because he's a passionate person. But you know, it won't be.
Was the thrill still around at that point? No.
And also, Adolin's never been quite as
Susceptible to the thrill.
though he could feel it. Any Alethi could feel it. Anyone could feel it if it was in that area. But yeah, he was never quite as susceptible to it, which I also think why he loves dueling so much, because he loves the art of it, like becoming one with the moment and
Without having to actually
similar
kill
to
somebody.
Kaladin.
Yeah.
Similar to Kaladin. You know, like when Kaladin's fighting, he like really get a sense that he's in his like oneness
Well,
with himself.
I definitely like really believed him. I got the feeling that it wasn't just some like bullshit justification when he told Kaladin, when you're ready for it, we'll duel. And
Yeah.
you'll see what I see
Yeah.
when I duel. Like, I don't think it's... I agree with you. I don't think it's about, like, killing for him. He loves just the sport of it.
Yeah, it's
kind
like a
of.
zone in art.
Yeah.
For him, it's something else.
To him, it's Shallan's drawing. It's a
Yeah.
call. You know, it's a
Yes.
calling. It's a something that you were drawn to.
So, either way, whether wrong or not, he's definitely trying to become his own. And I was really, really applauding Sanderson's writing in this because Dalinar was pissing me off. Whenever Adolin was trying to
Oh
talk
my gosh,
to him, and
calm down, Jeff. Calm.
Dude, I'm not
Dalinar
gonna lie.
was like-
I really, really fear that in this book, Dalinar is gonna piss us off a lot more. I'm really worried for Dalinar for some reason. I'm getting
it's like
spidey senses.
he's becoming so like kind of haughty, honorable that you can't.
So this is kind of out of nowhere, and we do kind of have to start wrapping up this part, but maybe this is something that can lead us into the next part. I don't know. Lost my train of thought. Oh crap! It was about Dalinar though.
I remember what it was, Brett. Brett, you were thinking that one time at band camp.
Oh yes, so Dalinar's at band camp, right?
Playing his temple.
And he stuck his shard.
I think that, to kind of we could maybe wrap this up, but talking about Adolin, one of the things that got me like super excited is I love the way he presented the argument to the honor Spren.
Well, I would actually encourage you to
can we
hang on
finish?
that
But can we
because
finish?
I think that Adolin needs a little bit more because the end of that whole Shadesmar troop might be the beginning of next episode.
Let's
if you
start
get into
off
the
with
honor
that.
Sprone,
Yeah.
I would almost rather take a final Brett bet and then close this episode out.
All right.
I think you're obsessed with Adolin, Jeff.
Sure.
Maybe a little.
I mean, it's a combination of you and Jeff. What's not to be obsessed with?
I would be
You're right.
obsessed with that, Manny. I don't know
You're
why you're not
absolutely
obsessed with it.
He sees Adolin whenever he looks.
Manny's like,
into
well,
a
now that
mirror.
you put it that way.
I hate him now.
Manny has the style and I have the empathy.
You just got the hair. That's all.
I really do lack empathy.
But I don't know if Jeff has
Okay,
that.
Yasna. We actually know Manny would definitely be a Yasna.
Be
type
Yasna.
Pokemon.
I'm not gonna lie. If Yasna was a real girl, I think Manny might be straight for her.
Oh hell yeah! I'd be all
Yeah.
over that.
I get that vibe.
Agreed. Yeah.
All right.
All right, what's the
agreed.
final Brett?
Final
bet?
Brett bet?
I don't have one.
Oh, I thought you had one.
Oh, I'll do it. Okay. I do. I have a few.
Okay.
Okay, final Brett bet. We were talking about Adolin becoming an edge dancer.
Yes.
And so we have a Brett bet about him becoming a Radiant via wanting to save Shallan.
Shallan.
And we think it's an edge dancer, but some of us don't think it's an edge dancer. This is going to be very specific. Will Adolin be an edge dancer? The reason that I'm making this Brett bet is actually in my thoughts and reflection on Adolin as I was talking to you guys. I remembered more and more about those that he remembers that are lost. Now I'm convinced. Rashadium, Maya, like it goes on and
His
on.
brother.
Renarin, like it just goes on and on and on. I'm actually convinced he's absolutely part of the edge dancing group,
I
and
thought
so
it
I'm
said
saying it.
his sword spin was an edge dancer. So
It
yes.
looks like it, like
I'm saying
like
yes.
Viney and okay.
but
I mean, also, there's. I'll say this after. Let's take the bets.
So Jeff's just repackaging my amazing Brett bet. That's okay.
yeah.
No, I'm taking out the part that I disagreed with.
Yeah, he's taking the little bonus thing that him and Ben said and actually just turning it into a Brett bet. So I'm just gonna remove the bonus from the last one and just make it a Brett bet.
Oh,
Sure.
I think everyone's gonna say yes then.
Sure. I think so.
No, I'm still gonna say no.
Although
Manny says
I
no.
do get more
Good.
of a. I do get more of a Dustbringer vibe.
Oh!
I don't get an edge dancer vibe.
I'm kidding.
I was gonna say that would be
No,
hilarious.
I'm kidding.
Is that your final say? No, Dustbringer.
I think me.
No.
I say yes to Edge Dancer. The Dustbringer was just
Actually,
a joke.
Just kidding.
I just thought of something really
You
big.
do say yes to Edge Dancer though. Okay.
Yes. I
Josh
do,
says yes.
correct.
Manny.
No.
Okay. Second piece to this.
Wait, hold on. I have to capture the tone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Meow.
Yeah.
How do you spell meow?
Meow. N-I-A-O-O-O.
And Ben is no. Yes.
Yes, he is an edge dancer.
So everybody's a yes except for Manny. I'm a yes, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, so this is
Okay.
an auto win.
So
Wait.
here's the yeah. Dude, Manny, you might as well drink it now.
Okay.
But I was gonna say another reason that I feel that is because wasn't there that scene because everybody talks about how like edge dancers are like really graceful and stuff like that. And wasn't there that scene where like Maya is basically like used to like scare off everybody by like just flailing around? And,
Well,
like,
she's actually mimicking the form that they
the form that
practice
they.
all the
Oh,
time,
that's
yeah.
true. I guess it is the form that he did.
Yeah.
But that would also show grace.
No, it definitely is graceful. So here's the next and last Brett bet of this episode, and this is I think a
Oh,
hunted
another
one.
one? Okay.
Yeah. So here it is. Navani
Navani.
will either bond
The sibling.
the sibling or she will become a Dustbringer. Andrew actually incited this on me because Dustbringers like to know, tinker. They tend to be engineers. They take things apart. They
Yeah.
tend to do this thing. So I think we don't have a good dust.
Andrew's going full fucking pattern
So
right now.
so here's what I think. I just realized that Navani is either going to become a bondsmith, but she has capability to like bring things together and stuff, but her direct nature reminds me a little bit of a Dustbringer in terms of that engineering side. Not the
Jeff,
crazy
you're casting
Dustbringer that
too
was
big
with
of a net. I
Taravangian.
think this has got to be one of three options: neither Dustbringer or the Spren, the sibling.
I want the sibling and Dustbringer to be together
No,
because I think it's one of those two.
That's too broad.
No, I say it's one of those two. You could say no. You could say no, and it could be any other Spren or nothing at all.
I'll say this: if
one of those two.
If we all end up going yes, then I agree with Josh. We have to amend it.
Okay.
But if anybody says no, we're gonna keep it.
Remember,
as is.
no means any other Spren or nothing. Yes means Dustbringer or sibling.
I'm gonna say yes.
Ben. Yes. Josh.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Captain.
I'm gonna also say yes.
You gotta hope for one no.
I wanna think. I say Jeff's overarching. There's no way she's gonna bond the sibling, in my opinion.
Dustbringer?
I think the
Dustbringer's possible. That's why you want to split it up.
Yeah, I think the Dustbringer is possible, but I also I don't want to
say no then.
But
if you
I
think anything else, say no.
I want to say no, but I don't want to give Jeff this easy win of just like, oh, it's one. It could be
It's such an
one
easy
or the
win,
other.
then say yes.
Yeah, if it's such an easy win, say yes.
If you think
See,
I'm
but I
that
don't-
right, I mean, if you think I'm that right, you should just
No,
say
I think
yes.
you're only possibly right on half of it. I think she has no chance of being because there's only one.
Well,
bondsmith at a time.
only bet on that half.
Sure. Only bet on that half then.
No, then
I mean, you're going to be automatically involved in the other half,
I'm
but
gonna
you
say
only.
no.
He said no.
He said no.
No? Okay. So bet is as is. Manny.
Yes.
Yes. I really want to say yes, but I don't like leaving Josh all on his lonesome.
No, leave me by myself.
Edgedancers.
Just so
All
I
right, in
can
that case,
laugh
yes.
all the hard way. And I'm right.
You can't give
All
me
right.
an easy out like that.
That does it, guys. Part one. All right, so we're
one
gonna
of
start
part
off.
two.
Yeah, part one of part two. Part one of part two of Rhythm of War, and we will start off in Shadesmar and get on to Kaladin next part.
Cheers!
Cheers.